today we're looking at this question that my life has plateaued. What do I do? I don't know about you. I was in a meeting yesterday and I said to them that sometimes you get to a place where there's just a glass ceiling above you. You have studied, you have come to this level, but you just can't go past that. It could be your program. You have come to a particular level of plateau and you're asking, okay, so what do I do to break that ceiling and go to the next level? And we'll look at a few things that you can do today. So getting to a plateau is not the problem. It's good. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because, and I'm going to show you why I say it's a good thing. But what you do from there is key. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me, one, did you ever plateau before? I mean, get to a level where it was just straight on for you. What did you do when you got there? And because I realized when I was studying and researching about this, that there are two kinds of, I've heard different kinds, at least two kinds of plateau. Someone would say, I'm at a point, I don't know what to do. Someone would say, I've gotten to this level and I'm looking to go to the next level, but I don't even know how to go about it. So I've stayed in this level for a while. Now, whether it's positive or negative, we want to look at that. But if you've had that experience before, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself. You can just go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know if you have plateaued before and how was it for you? How was it for you? You don't want to ask a question. I'm going to hold on, right? Okay, so I'm assuming that nobody has plateaued on the platform, right?
Well, I don't know if I could say that I've plateaued
Okay.
on the platform. I don't know if I could say I've plateaued, but I know that I during the COVID break, I started on a course, just reevaluating everything that I had learned
Okay.
and making up my mind that no matter what happens, I would implement. And I saw I was making progress, which is one of the reasons why I'm on the program today.
Okay.
But I got to a stage back in uh, back in June, July, where I achieved significant returns. I mean, I did better during the COVID pandemic break at any point in time last year and the beginning of the year before COVID, which was strange. And I got to a stage where I seemed to be doing quite well. And then all of a sudden, it's as if I went down into the valley and getting back up there is like I have to go back to the beginning again to start. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I plateaued and I had not, instead of moving higher up, I kind of was, maybe I took a parachute and I found myself floating slowly down the hill or something. And I need to find my wings to get back up again. So that's what I'm thinking has happened. I'm not too sure. I'm still looking at it. I'm going back, going through my notes, looking at what I'm doing right and what I'm not doing right, etc. I'm taking it from there. So I think I may have platted without knowing that that's what it was.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure that by the time we look at the description, we'll be able to say, yeah, I think because every one of us, every time you get to a particular level of achievement or accomplishment and you just skip at that level for a while, it's a plateau, whether it's for a month or 2 months or 3 months or a year. The thing is that some people do it for a longer time, which can be rather disadvantageous to them. You're supposed to do a few things, and that's what I wanted us to look at today. Now, to define this, it's relatively when you get to a level ground after some heavy climb. You've climbed up to this place. You are now here, and you are going at that level. That's can be described as a plateau. You have achieved results, having worked hard, and now you get to a level in your life, or it could be your career, where your skills, your competence, or knowledge of a particular subject has flattened for whatever reason. Now, this is where you are good at what you do, and you do it well. But the feeling of challenge has stopped. So it's you're okay. You know that kind of, you know what, I'm just comfortable. Maybe like a job, you get a job and the job may not be where you want to go, but you're just comfortable. So you just honk the job and just keep doing it. You have stopped the challenge, which is what is the part you don't want to do when you get to a plateau. So now, so people are under pressure to work harder, faster, higher, accomplish more, and attain new grounds and new peaks at a progressively more impossible speed and climb. That's why when they get there, they kind of, just keep it there and just keep running and that at that level. Sometimes or most times what happens is that we miss the essence of that plateau because you could have your eyes fixed on the wrong thing. And believe this when I say this, that being still in terms of your position does not always imply to that you are stuck. So you can get to a plateau doesn't mean that you're stuck. And I like this quote. I'm going to just interject with this by Joyce Meyer. She said, "When we make progress quickly, it feeds our emotions. Then, when there's a period of waiting or we hit a plateau, we find out how committed we really are and whether we're going to see things through to the finish or quit." So what do you do when you get to plateau? And I'm glad that my friend Austin had mentioned the COVID because it plateaued a whole lot of people. It was a time in human history when most people hit plateau. Why? Because most people began to discover certain things about themselves. And some things I found out, even by conversation, to me was shocking. It introduced a lockdown, and this stay at home opened up to the emptiness that most of us feel. And we don't know it because we kind of use things to fill those gaps. It's interesting. And I began to, when I started, I began to ask myself that it's possible that some people are not comfortable with themselves. That's why they don't want to be alone. Not because of anything else, but because they have not found comfort within themselves. Can you imagine someone walking into his or her home, turn on the lights and turn on the TV because they don't want that silence. So they want to feel something in with those silence so that it can keep them kind of occupied. So what this COVID did was that when we stayed at home, some folks lost their job, and that's where they seem to have found their identity, which is not good for them. But because they did that, they came to a level of flatness. They didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, some people, like Austin, as they said, were busy doing some things that I'm going to highlight that it's you need to do when you get to that level, because it can be an opportunity for you to explore different avenues as you aim for significant ground. So this opportunity, guess what happens? Allows you to kind of step back and evaluate, like Austin said he did interestingly, and say, okay, what's been happening in my life or my business? What am I missing? Because a lot of times, if life is line upon line and precept upon precept, so if you don't get those first line 1 or line 2 in place, no matter how far you've reached, you may need to go back and get your line 1 in place. It just helps you build a more solid foundation. And that's what it's going to allow you to do. So it allows you to evaluate so that you can look at your values, you can look at your priorities, you can see if everything aligns with your person as of today. That's what they allowed us to do. Now, a lot of people were like, it's soon going to be over. And I said to them, that's the wrong approach. It doesn't matter when it's over. Prepare yourself, get yourself positioned. Get yourself ready to do what you need to do, because this moment can help you uncover new ideas. And that's the key thing that I found out, because interestingly, I said this some time ago. This program, Nuggets for a Successful Life, came out of that plateau of that COVID-19 brought to us, for instance, because I began to look at, okay, so how do I reach my audience? How do I help people go through this? And I just came to me and said, hey, listen, why don't you put together a live program? Now, a live program is different from if I was recording this and playing it for you to see. It's a different ball game. Here, I'm open to questions, which means it's more on the spot thing. It's not a, and you have to, if someone said, I want to do that, you can, but always default to where your strength or your grace is in terms of the things that you are skilled to do. And that's the key thing that I wanted to always understand, that it will help you do that, and your productivity will peak because you're looking at how can you do what you're doing better. And that's key. Okay. It also allows you, as Eddie Cantor said, to slow down and enjoy life. It's not only the scenery you miss by going too fast, you also miss the sense of where you're going and why. So it allowed us to slow down. So people that were saying, I couldn't do this because I'm always busy. I'm either moving, or they couldn't say that anymore, because now they had time. And for those who had goals coming in, and that's what happened to us, we could go to a gold map and say, okay, this is what we have planned to do this year. But the way things are, we have to tweak those plans a bit so that we can move them around and still get to do the things that we had planned or we had hoped to do for the year. And those things are coming to pass. Now, I always want you to do them in such a way that you can manage them. In that way, you go plateau for a while, learn what you need to learn, put what you need to do, and then move up again. But you're always moving up. You're always moving up, because a lot of times the things that would obscure or would kind of blind your view or your willingness to be patient, especially when you plateau, patience seems to leave. Everybody wants to, because you're used to that fast pace. But you need to understand that it's a time to slow down. If this has done anything, it's a time to slow down. It's a time to reevaluate where you are. It's a time to take a look at at everything that is around you, and don't let your thinking or your view of your reputation, of your status, don't let it blind you from looking at the things that you need to look at this level that you are. So at this level, at this time of your life, you should have had some things that you have set for goals for the coming year. So your 2021 is, at least you have an idea of what you're looking to accomplish in the coming year. You have to start to put plans together and put collaborations and connections together that will help you get to that level. Because what it will help you do is that being able to, I don't want you to justify your plateau. Some people justify it and say, you know what, this is what had happened, and maybe that's why I could not reach a particular level of my goal because of, no, it's not that. It's for you to be able to take a breather and look at what can possibly happen, and then you can start the attraction that would lead to consistency. So you are never at a disadvantage, whether you're at a level now, you're thinking, I didn't want to be here, I didn't plan to be here. No, you are never at a disadvantage. And that's one key thing that I want you to take. So where you are now, you just need to understand how to look at where you are, look at the things you've accomplished in the last few months, and then see what you need to put in place or move around so that it can get you to that, gets you moving up again, because you have to keep moving up. You have to keep keep learning. You have to keep challenging your mind. You have to keep growing, and it may mean you um, taking right steps and left steps, and just doing everything that is within you to make sure that you have exercised and you have used everything that is at your disposal at this level. And because you're always learning and you're always growing, when you plateau, it's okay. It's okay, because now okay, so I can't do this now. That means I have an opportunity to learn something, to study something. But your growth has to be consistent. You have to constantly be growing. That's what you want to do. You don't want to grow and stop, and then you now plateau for a long time. No, you don't want to do that. You want to keep on growing. You want to keep on learning. You want to keep on increasing, which means part of your goal has to be, what am I learning this week? What am I doing this week? And that's what I want you to know. So don't just stand and wonder. Get into something. Get learning. Get into some form of activity that will prepare you for the next. Like the ants. Ants are always preparing for the next season. You catch an ant now, it's getting to winter here. The ant is preparing for spring. So ants are always one step ahead. They're always looking at, so they are not buying clothes for winter because they bought it in summer. They are buying clothes now for summer because they already have winter clothes. So you are preparing now for next year, because you know that come next year, you'll be preparing for the year after that, so that you're always ahead in terms of your life's journey and your life's purpose. Because the truth is that everything in your life connects, and you must make sure that you have them oiled and working the way that you want them. Now, in conclusion, I'll say this. Number one, the plateau is where we can reestablish, create meaning, and try new things. And then secondly, it's most crucial aspect to keep in mind, as guess what happens? It's a continual learning and developing yourself and growing period in your life. And then lastly, there would be no time in your life when you don't have to depend on work or productivity. All you are doing is just taking a break, and it would actually serve you better. I'm going to pause here, and I'll open up for questions, contributions, comments. But that's it about plateau, and how to address it and how to see the advantage of it so that it can work for your good at the end of the day. I'll open it up for questions.
Hello, Coach. Good evening.
Hey, hi, Talani, how are you? Thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
Um, so I have a question.
Okay.
So my question is, if when people go through some rough times, there are some things you normally do, that works out for you and that helps you cope with such bad times. But when there are sometimes you just hit some kind of rock bottom where even those things that normally work for you before, just seem like a bother at that point in time. So what then do you advise when someone hits that kind of a situation whereby what works for you normally or what cheers up your mood normally doesn't work because of a certain situation you have seen yourself, a certain situation you have entered, and then it just seems like your mind just doesn't want to leave that space of thought. So I want to know, like, what are the steps someone can take to ensure that you don't stay on that issue for too long,
Okay.
you know and that steps that can help you, retrace your steps and help you get to where you are meant to be.
Great question, Talani. Thank you very much. Now, life will tell you that it's all going to be hunky dory from now till rapture. No, life always happens. There are two things that I have put in place to help me. Number one is that I have accountability partners. Number two is that I have what I call go-to people. Because sometimes we can get to a place in our life where even we can pull ourselves out of it. You see, someone said something, and Altru said, you cannot solve a problem from the level of thinking that caused the problem. You have to be able to elevate above that level of thinking to be able to solve that problem. That's why some people have coaches, some will have mentors, some will have accountability partners, some will have bodies that they would reach out to and say, you know what, I'm just not myself, and they would be honest with it. I am at the lowest place I am now. I thought it was going to work out for me. I didn't think I was going to be here at this level at this time of my life, but see what's happening. And they can honestly talk to me. Because what happens is that their words can bring me out of that depth and also begin to influence my thinking, because everything that is happening to you is in the mind.
Exactly.
It's nothing outside. I mean, okay, what's happened has happened. It rained, it snowed, okay, but everything else, the battle is really in your mind. So for you to be able to gain control of that, especially if it's gone to a place where the things that you normally would go to are not working, you need to now reach out to other people that can help you through. And then it would occur to you at that time that, okay, I need what I call new sets of resources in case things like this happen. So I tried this. It's like a program. You try this, it didn't work. It's an opportunity for you, as we said, and when we're looking at Plateau, to come up with new things and new ways. So you can either say to yourself, okay, I won't let myself get to this level of thinking before I do something. I won't let it go, because if it gets past this, I begin to tank and I can't pull myself up. So I don't want to get myself. It's like you would maybe like a relationship. You say,
Yeah.
I got burnt last time, so I'll tell myself, before I get any further than here, I need to make sure that we are in the right path. So you just set those things in place for yourself, and in no time you can bounce back, and bounce back stronger, always stronger than when it first started. I don't know if that helps
Yeah.
you in any
Yeah.
way.
Thank you very much, sir. That helps.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
Tolani. And any other question? Any other question?
Not for me.
Okay,
I'm fine.
you're fine. Okay. Any contribution? Anything that could have been added to what, in terms of, because I know something about this is what most of us, if you have not experienced this before, then maybe you are not. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see that Grace raised her hand. Grace, please go ahead and unmute yourself and just tell us where you're calling from, and let's hear you,
Okay,
please.
my name is Grace Yomi Balogun, and I'm one of the coach's ardent followers, I must say. I'm calling from Nigeria, and I must say a huge thank you to Coach Aneken. My life has not been the same ever since I met him. I am glad I was able to call in this evening because my evening got quite busy. And I just said to myself, I missed it last week, so I want to be part of this week. And then I want to say another thank you. You know, I always say thank you all the times to you.
Yeah.
I'm quite, I never knew it was about a plateau. I didn't know it was anything to do with a plateau, but all that you have described this evening are situations that I've been through. And thankfully, I have swam through them, as it were. And doing quite well now. So I say thank you again, especially for those that are probably in this situation at the moment. It's something that would pass as long as you're focused, you'll get back on track. That's the bit that I have to say.
Yes, thank you very, very much. You see, that's why I said every one of us, you're going through, either you have gone through this or you went through this some time ago. And a lot of times, just knowing that it's a part of life can be comforting. For instance, I'm going through that right now. Just knowing that this is part of life. So it's not something strange that's happening to me or something that I may have done. It's possible that maybe you made a few choices that could have brought about the